George Clooney is one of those actors that I just never really cared for, and he stars in the newest rom-com film, Ticket to Paradise. Does this film really change my perspective on his acting? Find out next. A divorced couple teams up and travels to Bali to stop their daughter from making the same mistake they think they made 25 years ago. The film stars George Clooney, Sean Lynch, Julia Roberts, Ariel Carver-O'Neill, Lane Cooper Tang, Billy Lord, Caitlin Dever, and many more, and was directed by Ol Parker, who has also directed Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. So Ticket to Paradise, I saw the trailer, and I honestly didn't really have any expectations for this film. It just seemed like it would be a really predictable, safe comedy film. As I said in my intro, I'm not a big George Clooney fan, and Julia Roberts, I didn't really grow up watching her films, so I have no emotional attachment to her. So after watching this film, I have to say that all my predictions about this film were actually right. The trailer in this film, for starters, gives away too much information. So you have David and Georgia, David played by George Clooney, and Georgia played by Julia Roberts. They had ended a marriage 20 years prior, and they have their daughter, Lily, who is going to law school. I just graduated. She is on vacation to Bala, and she meets a seaweed farmers there, and she actually spends time with him for about 40 days, and they decide they're going to get married as they're in love. And so they get this email from their daughter, and they decide that they're going to go to Bala and actually crash the wedding because they don't want their daughter to make the same mistake. And you can really imagine throughout this film that a lot of the shenanigans that happen, they are really predictable. You know exactly what is going to happen in this film. As far as actual jokes in this film, they're really safe. I think I laughed one time in this film, and that was actually a character that really wasn't involved in the story. It happened when they were actually flying on a plane. There was a character that isn't a part of the story, and she made a funny little joke that made me chuckle. But really, I didn't laugh in this film. The whole comedy, it just wasn't really there for me. It just was really flat. I found that a lot of the stuff in here was really predictable, and it just seemed like a movie that would be more so if you're a George Clooney fan, or if you really like Julia Roberts, if you really like rom-coms, if you like a lot of predictability, this is the film for you. For me, I knew that after watching this film that this film was not really for me. It just didn't do anything to break the mold or really feel like it was a film that you really need to watch. And I just didn't feel like it was a film that really had any type of twists or turns. It would have been nice if we had a little bit of different kind of vibe to this film, but it just feels like with George Clooney and Julia Roberts, it's almost like they were approached by the actual agents and they were like, all right, so we have this film for you to go into. And George Clooney was like, another one of these films, another rom-com film I got to be a part of. And they said, well, Julia Roberts is going to be in there. And it's almost like he jumped on board. And it's like when they're going through their performances, they just seem kind of mediocre. It's nothing really spectacular that they're doing here. Nobody really puts on a really good performance. I didn't feel like I really cared about any character that much. It just feels too safe for me. It feels more so like somebody like an older lady might enjoy this film. I feel like this is more so a film that my mom would enjoy because it's just so safe with the comedy. I mean, nothing really to laugh at. I just had nothing to really grab onto. And I just felt at points that I knew every little thing that was going to happen. And that was really the unfortunate part about this story because I wanted a little bit of difference than what I was going to actually predict in this film. I thought that if it would go another way, then I'd be quite surprised. But there was just no surprise in here. And if you watch the trailer of this film, it gives away every single thing about this film. There's not really even a reason to watch. If you watch the trailer, you've watched the film. But on the flip side of this film, I really did enjoy watching Caitlin Dever. I saw her in Booksmart, and even though I didn't like that film, I do like her as an actress. I also like the setting in this film. So it takes place in Bala, but it was actually filmed in Australia. And so it looks really nice with the tropical water and the whole setting. You really feel like you're on the beach and in a tropical setting. And it's definitely a place that I wouldn't mind visiting. It definitely looked really cool on screen. But I have to say that this film, it's just one of those films that I would suggest to watch if you really like George Clooney or Julia Roberts, but just don't expect anything, twist or anything to really go above and beyond a rom-com, as it's just really predictable and you can see everything that is going to be coming in this film. And if you like a really safe film that is really clean, and I think this film you could even watch with family. There really isn't anything really offensive about any of the jokes. It's one of those films that you could probably watch around Christmas time and just reminisce. If you live like in an actual cold state, watch something that's in a tropical state and I guess wish that the weather was actually warm in your area at that time. Or if it's just a film that you really just are really interested in checking out, go for it. But I just don't think it's a really exciting film. It's just kind of meh for me. And that's why I would give a score of this film a 2 out of 5. It's not the worst film that I've watched this year. It was tolerable, but it's nothing that I'm going to rush out and actually watch again. I really recommend, unless you're just someone that really likes predictable, safe kind of comedy kind of films. But thank you guys for watching this review, and I'll see you guys on my next review.